It's a beautiful Thursday morning in the city of Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. My name is Dablola Ogunshaki, and I'm starting with Vanguard this morning on the paper review. Vanguard is leading with Nigeria at 65. Opposition leaders, others take Tinubu to task. Tinubu unmoved, uncaring amid hunger, bandit attacks. That's coming from Atiku. Nigeria failing under APC. That's coming from Obi. If the worst is over, why are Nigerians still dying? That's coming from ADC. We are hungry for food, not statistics. Christian Association of Nigeria says Nigeria's future bleak under leaders with entitlement mentality. That's according to Anglican primates. You can see that story on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper. And there are two photo stories. The first is taken at the commissioning of Wole Soyinka Center for Culture. And there's a photo story of Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, President of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, CBN Governor Yemi Cardoso, and the First Lady, Senator Olu Remi Tinubu. Now, the second photo story was taken at Ilumelu's award, where he gets the Conscience Award at Bishop of New York, and award recipient Timothy Kadina. They were all present. Now let's move to page 8 of Vanguard newspaper. 2027, Amechi Obi Utomi is increasingly pushed to end courtroom democracy. Iyaloja General is alien to us. That's coming from Oba Obini. Page 12 has that story. United States shut down visa, passport services to continue in Nigeria. That's coming from Embassy. Obi, Lagos government differ over trade fair complex demolition. Above the banner on page 20, stock market investors earned 1.8 trillion naira in September amid CBN's reforms. Tinubu not jittery over opposition. That's coming from presidency. On page 7, death of Arise TV anchor Sobtochukwu jumped from third floor. That's coming from FCT police boss. PENGASSAN suspends strike after federal government intervention. You can see that story off page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. Now let's move to the Punch. Punch major headline says PENGASSAN strike. NNPC laments losses as union halt action. 16% of crude output, 30% of gas supply disrupted during strike. Dispute risk economic instability. That's coming from federal government. PENGASSAN suspension not cancellation, will strike again if deal fails. Dangote denies victimizing staff. You can see that story on page 2. Now on page 3, Nigerians language in prisons after Utopia stalls MOU. Kogi boat crash, death toll it's 26, Tinubu mourns. Nigerian arrested for attempted trafficking of daughter to Iraq. Wale Tinubu begs Africa Energy Award in South Africa. You can see that on 27. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, top left corner of the Punch newspaper, Nigeria at 65. Tinubu's reforms yet to ease hardship. That's according to experts. Now let's move to the Nation. Nation major headline says governors renew pledge to speed up development in states. Soyinka, why I accepted renaming of National Art Theatre after me. 26 die in Kogi boat accident. Top banner, Anyanwu voids Damagum's suspension of Akwa Ibom PDP ESCO. Lastly, on the Nation newspaper, Fubara sacks ESCO, ready to submit commissioner nominees to assembly. Page 3 as that story. And lastly, the Guardian major headline says Nigeria at 65. Leaders call for reforms on poverty, insecurity, faltering democracy. Dangote's rift with PENGASSAN unfortunate, says a man. Newspaper 3 as that story. And lastly, on the Guardian newspaper, Tinubu Ododo mourn as victims of Kogi boat mishap rise to 26. Newspaper 30 as that story. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break for a brief analysis of some of the stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Dablola Ogunshaki. Joining me to analyze some of the stories on the front pages is Mr. Oludare Mayowa. publisher, Global Financial Digest. Good morning, Mr. Mayowa.
Good morning. Thanks for having me today.
All right, let's start with the president's Independence Day speech. So yesterday, the president claims that the worst is over for Nigeria, and opposition leaders and religious civil bodies they've criticized the president's statement. Criticism came from figures including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, ADC. Christian Association of Nigeria, Afenifere, Anglican Primates, and some others. But what do you think about the president's Independence Day speech? Before we dive further.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, different speech of the president was comprehensive, addressing all areas of the economy, the security, and social impact of the government. We can see some movement in terms of growth, some significant improvement in data used by the government in terms of GDP inflation, exchange rates, compared to what happened after the negotiation declaration, the subsidy done. We have seen to that extent, all the price of fuel or petrol that went as far as 1,000 plus immediately after his pronouncement or the year 2023, we are seeing trading around 80 to per liter. We are seeing the fuel rate has gone up to 1,000 naira. Petrol has gone to around 140, 150 to $1 today. We are seeing some inflation from 130 over 30% down to 20-something% right now. So we can see some changes, no doubt about it. But the issue is that, number one, some of those data are not technically correct. For the GDP will repeat. That means the figure was tampered with, was changed. Technically, we cannot say we are having a growth that's commensurate with what we are seeing today. Same thing for inflation rate. Inflation rate was tampered with. The change of the base year of inflation for what it used to be. So when you are doing comparison, you can't be comparing the same change in place to the previous one. So similarly, we're not saying that it has simply come down as it are showing. Yes, you are seeing price of food coming down here and there, price of gas and the rest. But as a result of the rebase of both the GDP and the inflation, we cannot claim that we are having improvement in those areas of the economy. People are still suffering. And when you look at security as well, the government is very talk about security in his speech. Yes, you can say some level of improvement we have been seeing, but we have not been able to address physically that the banditry, the insurgents, the killing, the mass killing. We recorded what happened to the anchor in Arise televisions who died as a result of armed robbery. Armed robbery has really diminished in time past. We are seeing insurgents of armed robbery coming here and there today. That's part of insecurity. Government has not been able to tackle or address some of those issues. In terms of rule of law, we are seeing a massive decline in what it used to. For example, what happened in River State, the declaration of state of emergency in River State, was a blow on Nigerian democracy and the rule of law. Up till now, the court has not been able to lift that case. It shows that the Nigerians happened to Nigerian judiciary as well, as that happened to National Assembly. Because now National Assemblies are subservient to the government, to the president. So yes, so we are not having clear cut delegation of authority to the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. So yes, the president has done subsequent work in the last few years, but Nigeria are still suffering. They are still asking that Nigeria are still hungry. Employment are still very low. So people are seeing data every day out of this country as well, the asking in the country. So, and for me, the tone of the speech does not really contain empathy for the people. For example, we are seeing both the bragging, the president is bragging about what he has really done. With the worst is over. The worst is not yet over. For average Nigerian who are still suffering, are still below the poverty level. So I'm not seeing the expression of sympathy or empathy that government is empathizing with people are still falling below the poverty line. People are still suffering the impact of insecurity across the nation. I'm not seeing the president empathizing with these people and the impact with their people, rather than they are still bragging and touting achievement. There should be a grand empathy on the tune of the government. Though we know people are still going through hardship, when we are working hard to ameliorate the situation, that was the expected of the president, the father of the nation. But I'm not seeing that in that speech. So, typically, the chief does not really address the people, the need, the suffering, the hardship we are facing in this country. What we are seeing that government touting, data, and data does not translate to living standard, does not translate to welfare of the people. That's my own position on that, really.
All right, the Anglican primate spoke of leaders having an entitlement mentality and the lack of sacrifice. So, what do you think about this statement?
Exactly, because in terms of saving from subsidy, in terms of improvement in revenue generation and taxation, we have not seen the grand impact calculated down to the masses in terms of massive infrastructure construction, in terms of welfare of the people. So what we are seeing is that yes, the revenue has increased, yes, they are making the most saving from subsidy. There's no transparency in distributing or in administering those resources. Therefore, we are seeing the lifestyle of our leaders changing significantly, transforming buying cardinals, driving, buying private jets, buying houses abroad, traveling all over the place. We're not seeing it calculated to the right people. So what that means that the gain recorded by the government in terms of saving from subsidy, from naira regulations and the rest, and increase in taxations and the revenue generation are being enjoyed by people in government, by political class. That's what it means. Because ordinarily we are expecting that this money should have flown back to the welfare to addressing food shortages, addressing poor infrastructure. Power is endemic. In last week we don't have light for 3 days. Now there's no light here. They just took the video of this, took the light. You know that kind of thing. And we are not seeing improvement in infrastructure. So these are things we are expecting. Yes, we have made tremendous gain in terms of saving money from subsidy removal, from reduction of naira regime, from even sector. Yet, how can we measure this increase in lifestyle, in the development, in the growth of the economy? Cannot measure it. So government has failed in the major area which was elected to power. That means the welfare and the security of the people. That's the import of government. But this is lacking. And that means the government has not really achieved anything. So what we are seeing is that they are bragging that the data has improved. But the data does not translate to the welfare of the people. Does not translate to the lifestyle of the people have improved. Does not lead to more power. We are still running around 4,000 megawatts of electricity, 5,000 electricity generation. In how many years? 65 years of our independence. It's a shame. It's an embarrassing situation.
Well, as a Nigerian, away from what the president had said, how do you feel about the country celebrating our 65th independence anniversary?
Yeah, as a Christian, I believe that we should be grateful. Gratitude there should be attitude of us, regardless of what we have gone through, regardless of the circumstances we are going through in this country today. That we are alive is a major issue. That we are surviving. That we are still together as a nation. There is more celebration, so to say, even though at the nation is scale to the way. But for us to appreciate what God has done in our life as a nation, this country has gone through hell in terms of civil war. We have gone through insurgents, Massacre, Swap, whatever the name they are called. And they have gone through hell. In 65 years of existence as a independent nation. Here we are seeing that as a nation, and we are seeing moving forward. Like I said, no doubt that there has been some progress from what we have noticed after the independence in lifestyle, infrastructure, in code, like the president put in increase in the education sectors. We have more private universities today. We have more government public sectors in university today, more secondary school, where we can talk about the standards and the standards. Or as we have more people enrollment in school, which is an improvement. We have people, we have people who are doing well in their own sector. We have our youth new grants in tech sectors. So it's yes. Because that we realize that inflation, there's hope. So when there's hope, there should be for us to be grateful. So yes, celebration, yes, but not bragging. Because the government has already impacted people as they ought to have done.
All right, let's move away from that and quickly talk about this one. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited Group Chief Executive Officer Bashar has lamented the crude and gas production losses resulting from the 3-day strike. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited Group Chief Executive Officer Bashar has lamented the crude and gas production losses resulting from the 3-day strike carried out by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria. What do you think about the strike and its results so far?
Yeah, there's no doubt about any destruction. Even the economy is going through its challenge. Any destruction is negative in the sense of it. Whatever the labor issue, I think the labor union did not exploit all angle to their fight. Yeah, I agree with them that they have the right to protect the welfare of their members. But without that disrupting the economy or disrupting production, because it has the consequence. The economy that is struggling, and people embark on strike. What we are doing is we are doing more damage to the economy. We are doing more damage to the people, and we are getting more challenging to people. For example, when they cut off the gas, like I told you, that we don't have light for 3 days. 3 days. So you can imagine how much you spend on generator to ensure that we're able to have access to power. And many businesses have spent so much money on power generation for that period. So it's a loss to the economy, it's a loss to the people. So I expected that going forward, that the labor union will explore all avenues, all angles, the labor in crisis execution method before they can resort to strike. And that will help all of us.
But so how severe are the losses so far?
The issue of labor crisis is always very touchy, and they have to be trying to address them. Like I said, without disrupting the system. You can imagine if the Dangotes have been forced to shut down completely. So my God, those people we are seeing queue emergency filling stations. People spending more time in queue to buy fuel rather than just driving to the station, buy fuel and moving to the other things they need to do. So these are the loss, these are the cost effects of such disruptions. You see people who are not able to access power to do certain production, so they have to resort to alternative power generation, which are the additional cost for them. These are the losses that the economy is called. This time labor is going to strike and disrupting productive sector rather than engaging in a positive discussion with the organization and ensuring that they are able to resolve their issue without causing damage to the economy. But these are the setbacks. For those things they have lost in terms of food production, for example, we cannot get it. And this is because that require all hands to be on deck to ensure that we take this contract from the low level to the high level. So for me, labor, yes, like I said, they have the right to defend their people and the right to appeal to their people and the other people to ensure sure that both sides lead themselves in such a way that they put the interest of the Nigerian nation and the people at heart in whatever thing they are doing.
All right, let's end this on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. this morning. And the first person speaking is Mr. Mr. says, you started raining curses because I gave a woman an innocent peck. To whom were you directing all those curses? And Mrs. replied, to whom it may concern.
I'm sorry, the man knows you are just trying to judge the process. Why should you give a pet to somebody there when your wife is here? That is disrespect in the sense of guilt. So if the man should behave himself in the way, even no matter the treatment to the other woman. And men, women are very jealous, very territorial and protective and territorial. So doing that disrespect to that kind of, so I will side with the issues this time around. That the man should have, there should not resort to causes of authority have any, it's not come into the picture. Like I talk about the neighbor, neighbor party, the neighbor, they should resolve their issue amicably without resorting to causes and all that kind of damages. That way I will do.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mariwa, for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me today. And have a lovely day.
And you too. Do want to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. You can also visit our website, www.vanguardngl.com. And that is where we have to draw the curtain today. Have a lovely Thursday.